Part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking Exam. Are we going to talk about some pictures? Yes, we're going to talk about some pictures. Part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking Exam is 4 minutes long if you have one partner, or 6 minutes long if you have 2 partners. The interlocutor will give you 3 pictures and ask you to answer 2 questions. You must choose 2 of the 3 pictures and answer the questions in relation to both of them. You have 1 minute to do this, and then your partner will be asked a question about the 3 pictures. After that, the process will repeat, except your partner must talk about 2 pictures and you will be asked a question in relation to your partner's pictures, obviously. Now, before we begin, let me give you some quick advice. Yeah. But Toby, I don't need any advice. I'm already perfect. Nah, Monica, you're right, but you do need a little bit of shaving advice, do you know what I mean? Oh my god, Bruce, shut up! If you have taken the B2 First Speaking Exam, then this part of the C1 Advanced Speaking Exam will seem familiar to you. However, there are 2 very important differences. Number 1, unlike part 2 of the B2 First Speaking Exam, you will be given 3 images and not 2. However, just like the B2 First Speaking Exam, you are only expected to talk about 2 of the images. Remember that. You are given 3 images, but you should only talk about 2 of them, and you can choose which 2 you speak about. And the second difference is, you will be asked to answer 2 questions about each image, instead of just 1 question. This means you will have about 15 seconds to answer each question about each picture, so it is very, 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 very important that you organise your answers appropriately. Yes? Yes! Right then, let's look at an example! Hey! In this part of the test, I'm going to give each of you 3 pictures. I would like you to talk about 2 of them on your own for about a minute, and also to answer a question briefly about your partner's pictures. Bruce, it is your turn first. Here are your pictures. They show people listening to music. Okay, I would like you to compare 2 of the pictures and say why the people might have decided to listen to music in these ways and how they might be feeling. All right. Yes, so I will talk about the first picture and the second picture. All right. In the first picture, people are listening to a man playing an instrument. It's in public. Maybe it's a train station. I can't remember the word, but he's playing a piano. The people probably decided to listen to music here because they were walking and heard it and decided to listen to it. I think they feel entertained by the musician. Maybe they feel surprised because they hadn't planned to listen to music. However, in the second picture, it is a concert, so the audience, I think, paid to listen to it. Maybe because it's a musician or a band that they like. They feel excited because they paid money to see this and want to have a good time. Unlike the first picture where they probably found the musician by accident. All right, thank you. And Monica, in which of these environments do you think the people are having the most fun? I would say probably the second picture, because the people in the audience have obviously chosen to go there and probably had been really looking forward to it for a long time. Like, I know when I arrange to go somewhere with my girls, I'm always like so excited. Let's start with Bruce. Bruce's answer wasn't bad. The first thing he did was let the interlocutor know which 2 pictures he was going to talk about. And that is good. However, in my opinion, he did make one very, very big mistake. What? Excuse me, Toby. How dare you? Bruce chose the first picture. However, this was a terrible decision because Bruce did not have the vocabulary to talk about the first picture. Bruce stated he is, I can't remember the word, but he is playing the piano. No, this man is busking. To busk. If you busk, you play music in the street for free in order to get donations. But Bruce did not know that, and so his answer was not as good as it could have been. Bad decision, Bruce. This is a very important error to avoid. Remember, you are given 3 pictures. So, the first thing you should do is look at all of the pictures and think, Which pictures do I have the most vocabulary for? And those two pictures are the ones that you should talk about. For example, Bruce, look at the third picture. What is this guy doing? Oh, well, he's listening to music with headphones. Exactly! The vocabulary, headphones, is good. So why didn't you choose the third picture to talk about instead? I don't know. So remember, the first thing you should do is look at the images and decide which two you have the most vocabulary for, or decide which one you have the least vocabulary for. Now let's look at Bruce's answer in more detail.
The first question was, why might the people have decided to listen to music in these ways? What is the question asking you to do? It's asking you to speculate about the past. In Bruce's answer, how did he do this? He said, the people probably decided to, and the audience, I think, paid to listen to it. This, again, is not terrible, but we can certainly use better grammar for speculation. We need to use past modals of deduction. Seriously, if you have a question in part 2 that requires you to talk about the past, use past modals. So instead of saying the people probably decided to, Bruce should say the people may, could, or might have decided to. Instead of saying the audience, I think, paid to listen to it, Bruce should say the audience must have paid to listen to it. We have used must here to express certainty. This is a concert and you usually need to pay for concerts, so must, not could, may, or might.
But you are studying for the C1 Advanced Cambridge exam, so you should already know all there is to know about past modals of deduction. And if you don't know all there is to know about past modals of deduction, well, that's a terrible thing. But don't worry about terrible things, because we can always turn terrible things into fantastic opportunities. Right here is a video about everything you need to know about past modals of deduction.
What was Bruce's second question? How might they be feeling? So again, what is this question asking you to do? It is asking you to speculate, but this time about the present, not the past. In Bruce's answer, how did he do this? Bruce stated, I think they feel entertained. Maybe they feel surprised. And they feel excited. Again, these are not terrible sentences, but we can do so much better. We need to use modal verbs to speculate. This means that instead of I think they feel entertained, we should say they might be feeling entertained. Instead of maybe they feel surprised, we should say they could be feeling surprised. Now remember, we are looking at a picture, so another good expression to use is look as if. So we could say, they look as if they are surprised, or they look as if they are excited.
And you are studying for the C1 Advanced Cambridge exam, so you should know all about look as if. But if you don't, video right here. So let us try and improve upon Bruce's answer. Remember, for part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking exam, it's very important that you do not waste time simply describing the picture, because you have 2 questions to answer about each picture, and as I have said before, that's 15 seconds per question per picture, and that is not a lot of time. However, if you are answering the questions well, you are going to be describing the picture to some degree in your answer. So, yeah, just focus on the questions and on using speculative language to do so. So, Monica, here is the picture of the man listening to music with headphones. I want you, using the grammar of modal verbs and to look as if, to answer the following question. How might this man be feeling? Okay, sure. So this guy looks as if he's relaxing on a sofa. He's listening to music with headphones, so he might be feeling tired after a day of studying or work, or he could be worried about something, and so he's thinking about how to solve a problem. And that was perfect. Oh, bloody hell, Toby, shut up. Thanks, Mr. Toby. Your question was also really cool as well, so well done you. Remember, for part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking exam, the questions are always basically the same. They'll ask you to speculate about the present, or they'll ask you to speculate about the past. Maybe you'll have one question asking you to speculate about the past, and another question asking you to speculate about the present. So it is very important that you practice doing these two things, using modal verbs to speculate about the present, and using past modals of deduction to speculate about the past. You do that, you will be fine. I promise. So, if you want to practice on your own, it's really easy. Just look at a picture, any picture, and ask yourself some questions like, why might this person be doing this? How could this person be feeling? Why might this person have decided to take up this hobby? What could the benefits of doing this be? Why have the people decided to work in a team? Very, very easy, and that is the solution. Practice, 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 using modal verbs to speculate about the present and modal verbs to speculate about the past. And maybe you have forgotten, but Monica was also asked a question. So let's have a look at it. Monica was asked in which of these environments she thought the people were having the most fun. And this was her answer. Do I have anything to criticize here? Well, no. She chooses her answer, she explains her answer, and then she briefly relates it to personal experience. If you do these three things for your little question in part 2 after your partner has finished talking about their pictures, then you will be fine. Remember that this short question will always be a which question. So again, choose your answer, explain your answer, and then relate it to personal experience. If you do this, then the examiner will be very, very happy and you'll move on to part 3. Even if the examiner isn't happy, you will move on to part 3. So I guess the examiner's happiness is irrelevant. So Monica, now it is your time to shine. Let's move on. Here are your pictures. Yes. Yeah, okay, sure. Perfectly is my middle name. Yes, Monica, sure it is. And what's your last name? Hairy? Monica, perfectly hairy? Yeah? Oh my god, Bruce, like I'm gonna tell you. You'll probably look me up on Instagram and follow me, and then you'll like all my pictures and stalk me and stuff because you're such a pervert. Ugh. Oh. Now, Monica, here are your pictures. They show people doing different activities. Yeah? I would like you to compare 2 of these pictures and say how the people can benefit from these activities and why they might have decided to take up these hobbies. Alright. Okay, totally. So I'm going to talk about the hot guy climbing and the ugly girl painting. Well, she's not ugly, but she's not cute like me. Like, you cannot compare that to this. Do you know what I mean? No one can even deny that I'm the most beautiful. Monica, no. Okay, sorry, Mr. Toby. I'm going to talk about the guy climbing and the girl painting. So, climbing is a really difficult sport. It requires a lot of upper body strength. And he looks as if he has a lot of muscles, so that could definitely be a benefit because girls, like me, love guys with muscles. That's like a fact. He may have taken up the hobby as a way of getting in shape, or he could be an adrenaline junkie and enjoy extreme sports. The painter, on the other hand, is in a far more relaxing environment by the sea. So one benefit could be being able to forget about your problems in a natural, peaceful environment. This woman must be a very creative person, and as a result, she may have chosen to take up painting as an outlet for her creativity. I don't know. It's possible, right? Thank you. And Bruce, which of these activities do you think is the easiest? To be honest, I think climbing is the easiest, yeah. You just need to hold something and pull. Anyone can do that. I often get drunk and I go to the park and I climb trees. It's one of my hobbies, do you know what I mean? Whew. Both answers were magnificent.
Monica introduced her answer by stating which pictures she was going to talk about. She then used a discourse marker before answering the first question about the first picture. She used both looks as if and a modal verb to do this. She also used vocabulary related to the topic like adrenaline junkie and getting in shape. She then used a contrasting expression to introduce the second picture. She answered the first question with a modal verb to speculate, and then answered the second question with a past modal of deduction.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Toby. Can I go? Yes, we're done. Go. Okay, ciao, ciao. All right, and what about me? Can I go? No, you can't. Wait a sec. Bruce's answer was very good because he did the 3 things that I have asked you all to do. He chose his answer, he gave a reason for his answer, and then he related his answer to his personal experiences. Okay, good, perfect, Bruce, now you can go. See you later. And with that, we are finished. Now you know everything you need to know about part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking exam. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. My name is Toby, and this was Smash English.